Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told how to voice a radio. So today we need to have a look at a couple of new leaders that are coming around in OP05. Still don't have the pack art for OP05, unless I'm wrong. If I'm wrong about that and we have seen the pack art, please let me know. I would love to see the pack art from OP05. But yeah, we got a couple new leaders, and we've got to look at alternate art leaders as well, which is lovely. So let's start off having a look at a purple Monkey D. Luffy. Look, we all know that One Piece is a Monkey D. Luffy show, all right? We know that he's the dude. And we've seen a bunch of monkey leaders already. Also, right, in my very early videos, I accidentally called him Monkey. Bunch of people told me I was wrong, and he's never called Monkey in the manga. That's just wrong. He's not often called Monkey in the manga, but there are instances of characters referring to him as Monkey, not Luffy. Just want to put that out there. But we have got another Monkey D. Luffy leader, and this one looks very, very good. Of course, we had the one from the starter deck, that was a red leader. Then we had the red-green leader in OP01. Then we had the black leader from starter deck 8. Now we got a purple leader here. Still no luck if you want yellow or blue, I'm afraid. Sorry about that, but you know they're probably coming. I do remember, of course, that when this set was revealed, we were promised that we were going to get some purple Straw Hat Crew. That seems to be happening, ladies and gentlemen. That seems to be happening. So what we've got here is a monocolor leader, 5,000 power, 5 life, all fairly standard. And we've got a skill here, activate main once per turn. You may put the top card of your life into your hand. If the amount of Don on your field is 0, or if it's 3 or more, add 1 Don card from your Don deck as active. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, the whole if it's 0 or if it's 3 or more is weird. It basically means you can't do it if you've got 1 or 2 Don, which I do actually understand, because that's essentially like turn 1. Because turn 1, if you go first, you're going to have 1 Don. If you go second, you're going to have 2 Don. But then by turn 2, you're going to have 3 or 4. So, essentially, this is just to stop you using the skill turn 1. Which is fine. I get that. Outside of that, it's basically, do you want to swap one of your life for a Don? But you're not exactly swapping one of your life for a Don, remember? Because, sure, you're giving up a life, but you're taking a life into your hand. You're giving yourself a card advantage. You're drawing a card. So essentially here, what you're doing is getting yourself an extra card. That's good. Getting yourself an extra Don, and it does go down as active. That's good. But you are putting your opponent slightly closer to winning the game by doing so. That's not so good. That's a little bit awkward. And people are going to use this. And people are going to do well with this. Again, a lot of leaders coming out lately, they're not out and out definitely 100% brokenly amazing. And they're not out and out definitely trash. What they're doing, and I'm loving this from a game design standpoint, I should say, is they're making it interesting. They're giving us leaders that could be good if you make the right deck around them, which is exactly what we want. Sure, you're going to give up a few life throughout the game, which is a little bit awkward, but you're getting a card advantage and a Don advantage by doing so, and that sounds pretty gosh darn good by me. But that's not the only leader we are getting in this particular set. We're also getting Bello Betty, who I don't think I've met her yet in the manga. And I'm up to like issue 850, right? I'm getting through that. Don't think I've met her yet. Unless I'm just being dumb. But we got a dual color leader, 5,000 power, 4 life. And before we even get to the skill, and I should mention translations are done by myself, but I've checked with a lovely Orange Samurai D, who's checked with the lovely folks on Twitter. And we can see here, it is the only red-yellow leader. And when we look at dual color leaders, one of the very, very first things we need to do is we need to look and go, do we have any other options? So before we even know what the skill does, we know that we've got the option here of going red-yellow, which is an option we've never had before. And, you know, if we're going red, we can go for Whitebeard. We can go Edward Newgate, that giant one that everybody loves from OP02. On play, one of your leaders gains 2,000 power until the start of your next turn. Then you can add life from your life area to your hand by your effects during this turn, and when attacking, Don X2 KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less. It's a big boy. But then you can also play this with, say, the big Charlotte Linlin, the one from the starter deck, whereby on play your opponent either has to trash a life or let you gain a life. And then, of course, we got the Charlotte Linlin from OPO3, which is unfortunately terrible because you've got to have a big mum pirate leader. Sorry. But we have got the other Charlotte Linlin and Edward Newgate. And I'm not saying this is a deck, right? That's not where I'm going with this. What I'm saying is this is a brand new color pairing that we've never seen before. And this opens up options that we've never had before. I'm not saying you want to play Charlotte Linlin and Edward Newgate in the same deck. But I absolutely am saying that they're both like ridiculously good cards that see a bunch of play in the relevant decks, and this is the first time you've been able to play them together, and that sounds pretty gosh darn cool by me. As for what Bello Betty actually does here, what we've got is a Revolutionary Army leader, and that's very important, because activate main once per turn, you may discard one Revolutionary Army card from your hand to give up to 3 of your Revolutionary Army or trigger characters plus 3,000 power for the turn. I love this, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely love this. Bearing in mind, yellow has more trigger than other colours. It's just a thing, right? Yellow has more trigger than we see in other colours. So already, and it's not a coincidence, right? Obviously, they're going to be doing that in the leader that is at least partially yellow, because it would be weird if they didn't. Now, Revolutionary Army, of course, we know like nothing about. I'm sorry, nothing I can really do about that. But we have at least got the option for trigger. You know, take Charlotte Cracker from OPO3. 4 cost 5,000 power. Don X1, if you've got less life than your opponent, you've got double attack and 1,000 power. But it's got a trigger that lets you discard a card from your hand to play this card. So get Charlotte Cracker out on trigger, and then use the skill from Bello Betty here. You gain 3,000 power, but the Charlotte Cracker skill gains 1,000 power, and all of a sudden you got 9,000 power and double attack. That's a good character, ladies and gentlemen. That is a very, very good character. Again, I'm not professing to go through every single possible combo here, but I'm saying this looks pretty gosh darn good. Or take the Sanji from OPO4 that, you know, 4 costs 5,000 power, trigger lets you trash a card from your hand to play it, but it's got blocker. It's a 5,000 power blocker with trigger. It's a really good blocker with trigger. But now it's 5,000 power. All of a sudden now your leader turns this into an 8,000 power character, and somebody that you were largely playing as a blocker now becomes a really big attacking threat. And that's what I really like about Bello Betty here, because by adding 3,000, which is huge incidentally, what you're essentially doing is taking characters that weren't attacking threats. You know, 5,000 is what you need to really attack and have any chance of getting through the leader. Well, now 2,000, when buffed by this, will get there. And things that were 3, 4, 5,000 all of a sudden turn into really, really good attackers. I love this skill. I love that you've got a red-yellow leader, so you've got new options. I love that this works well with trigger, which is something that's always fun. Play lots of trigger characters, play lots of characters for free, jobs are good 'em. But I also love the fact here that you can boost up the power a lot. Honestly, one of the big questions here is going to be, what do the rest of the Revolutionary Army look like? Because obviously you've got to discard them from your hand to use this skill, so you've got to be playing enough of them to discard a bunch. And you're buffing trigger and Revolutionary Army. So, I mean, look, I really like the idea of this, but we are going to have to see what the Revolutionary Army looks like before we actually get too excited. I mean, in terms of Revolutionary Army right now, anybody want to guess how many Revolutionary Army cards we've actually had? We have actually had a few. We've actually had 7 unique ones. We've had 6 blue, including the Inazuma from OPO2 that's got blocker and does gain 2,000 power if you've got 1 or less card in hand. And then we had the Black Sabo from OPO4, but none of these are red and yellow. We've had no red or yellow Revolutionary Army characters that have so far been released, so we have no idea. Yes, we've had some Revolutionary Army characters, we can't actually use them in this deck yet though. As it stands at the moment, there are 0 Revolutionary Army characters that have been released that we can actually put in this deck. Point is, to be determined, but I love the skill here, it could be amazing. Now, I did promise you some alternate art leaders as well. We have seen Luffy and we have seen Enel. Luffy is the one we've looked at in this video. Enel is one we looked at the other day. Its leader I actually really like. Now, it's a 5 power 4 life, which is weird because it's the first time we've ever seen a monocolor 4 life leader. But when your life hits 0 once per turn on your opponent's turn, you may add the top card of your deck to your life and then discard a card from your hand. It looks really good. So, yeah. And you'll notice, of course, these are just the manga faces. They are the exact same type of leaders we had in OP01 and OP02. So, you already know if you like these or not. I'm going to leave it up to you. I personally like them quite a bit. I don't like them as much as ones from OP03. I think in OP03, they absolutely nailed it. Also, right, I've now read the Dressrosa saga. Oh my goodness, Rebecca is cool. And Kyros is cool. And now I can go back and look at that artwork again and go, oh. Yeah, no, that was really cool. I didn't appreciate this artwork enough the first time I saw it. Now I've read the Dressrosa arc, I can go back to it and go, oh yeah, no, this is really cool. So I think OP03 is... Wait, no, I mean OP04, sorry. OP04 is peak alternate art leaders. They are, in my opinion, the best of the alternate art leaders. We've now gone back to what they were in OP01 and OP02, and, I mean, look, they're still cool. I still like them. I wish they'd stuck with the ones from OP04, but now I'm just sitting here hoping they go back to the design that they were using in OP04. Right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the news, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me how excited you are about these new leaders. Tell me what you think of the new, old, alternate arts. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at Lawasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassy Plays.